This is session number 5 of the Sales Mastermind podcast. Today in the hot seat, we have Camilo Morgado. Hit the music. Hello and welcome to the Sales Mastermind podcast. Get ready to harness the power of the Mastermind community and take your sales to the next level. I'm your host, Jonathan Stewart. Today's question comes from Camilo Morgado on Facebook. He asked, what is the most effective way to keep up with technological trends? I have noticed a lot of people, especially those who have graduated from college many years ago, have a problem keeping their knowledge up to date. So this is a great question, Camilo. A lot of people, as they get older, don't stay up with technology, and then what happens is they get behind in the industry. And so it's very important to constantly stay up with technology and constantly stay up to date with what is trending. So great question here. This is definitely applicable for those in sales, a lot of different technologies that we can use to improve our abilities. But I believe this is also good for anybody that's in business, also anybody that's in any professional realm. We need to always stay up with technology and use the tools that make us the most efficient. And one of the main tools that every salesperson should be using effectively is a CRM tool. I'm going to put a link in the show notes to a couple articles I've written about CRM tools, but what that is for you is a CRM tool is simply a way to keep track of every communication that you have with your customers, and it allows you to know quickly who to follow up with and to be able to schedule that. So very important tool to keep you on track and to keep prospects from falling through the holes. So that's one of the tools that you need to be using if you are not already. So I want to give you a couple tips here. Really, I'll give you 8 basic tips in order to stay up with technology and to stay up with the trends, and to really what this comes down to is to be more effective in sales by using the proper tools. So the first thing that I want to talk about is to make sure that you are following the thought leaders. Find out who the leaders are in each category of your business, or even some of the things that maybe aren't directly related to your business, and follow them. You want to go ahead and follow them on social media. You want to follow them on their mailing list, read their blogs. You know, these leaders in the industry will often talk about, discuss, and give you the resources and tools that they're using, and they're using to boost their creativity, and you can use these as well. So this is one of the best ways to stay on top of this. For instance, if you are wanting to stay on top of a lot of social media trends and what's really up on social media, there's a lot of different things and there's a lot of different people out there, but one of the ones that comes to mind is Gary Vaynerchuk. He's one of the biggest voices out there right now on social media. When it comes to online business and just building online businesses, I often listen to Pat Flynn. He calls himself the crash dummy of online businesses, and he truly has proven and tested out a lot of different methods of online business. And if you look at his income reports on the Smart Passive Income website, you'll see that he's been very successful. So definitely listen to that one. Another one that I would say an expert, a sales expert, would be a man named Grant Cardone. Probably heard of him before, but he really has a lot of good information, and he's a thought leader for sales information. And then another just one that I would throw out there as a thought leader would be the great Seth Godin. I would call him one of the greatest marketing experts. Very much a thought leader, thinks outside the box, has a lot of different ideas and philosophies that'll be very helpful for you, but then it'll also keep you on track with what's important, what trends are out there, what technologies should be used. One of the things that I kind of want to throw out there as just kind of a bonus tip is that you should not only follow people that are directly related to your industry, but that you should also follow people from other industries, because you never know what bits of information and what bits of inspiration that you can use from that industry and apply to your industry. That'll be a very important tip. So the first thing that you can do to stay up on top of technological trends and also stay up on technology is to follow the thought leaders and what they're saying. The second thing that I recommend you do would be to read trade magazines. So if you just do a quick Google search online, you'll find that if you just type in your particular business category and you type in trade magazine after it, you'll find there's probably a number of trade magazines out there. Most of them you can subscribe to for free. what you'll find if you find a good quality trade magazine is it'll have a lot of the experts in the field that'll be interviewed in it. So that'll kind of help you as far as the previous advice about the thought leaders. But you'll also find that the topics they speak of will often involve the trends, what's hot, what's working, what's doing well right now. And so you want to read these trade magazines and stay up on what's going on in your industry, and that'll really help. Some of the other magazines that I love to read, and they're not necessarily trade magazines, but they do keep you up on technology and the way things are moving, is Popular Science and Popular Mechanics. So kind of a little bit outside of the norm there, but two great magazines that kind of keep you on top of technology. So follow the thought leaders, read the trade magazines. Thirdly, listen to podcasts. Most salespeople, especially outside salespeople, we're out on the road a lot. We're driving. There's a lot of windshield time. And so I use that time to listen to various podcasts. And these podcasts, not only do they give me cool new ideas and give me new marketing tips, but they also let me know about a lot of different online programs, a lot of different technologies that people are using to boost their creativity. The most effective one, and one of the best I've listened to over the last year or so, is Pat Flynn's Smart Passive Income podcast. Definitely recommend you check that out on iTunes or the other ways that you listen to your podcast. But he interviews so many different people on there, and I'm constantly jotting down new technologies that make my life easier and more effective, whether that be email services, whether it be scheduling services, just whatever it be. There are all kinds of new technologies you can get from there. And there's a host of other podcasters out there that will also provide this inspiration. Another tip that I would have for you guys would be to attend trade shows. So trade shows are where the newest and greatest technologies are usually first marketed or introduced to the industry. And if you go to these trade shows, not only will you meet new people, but you'll see all kinds of new products, new technologies, and you'll keep on top of those trends. The fifth way would be to go to events. So if you go to seminars, live events, you'll meet a lot of new people, and these new people can connect you with new technologies. It's kind of like the podcast idea where you're learning from other people, except you're learning from people that you actually know. And so these live events, you'll get information from the live events, but the main reason you go to these is to connect with people, and those people will help keep you abreast of technology. So make sure you go to these events. The sixth way, and it really relates to going to the events, is just to talk to people and ask questions. In this world we live in, if you just simply keep your ears and eyes open, you talk to people and you ask the right questions, people will naturally talk about what's working for them, what they're finding very useful, and how they're having success. And you can ask those questions and dig in a little bit and find out what tools they're using and what things they're using that are effective, and you'll stay on top of what is trending. The next tip is really, if you're going to be reading trade magazines, listening to podcasts, going to trade shows, going to different live events, talking to people and asking questions, you got to make sure that you're not afraid to learn new technology. You're not afraid to adopt new technology. Be an early adopter. Be one of the first people to try it out. Be one of the people that figures out how to use it quicker. You know what? That's going to give you an edge, and you'll be able to get the benefits from it before everyone else. Don't be afraid to learn new things. Always be learning. This world, with the technology the way it is, it's moving so quickly. And if you don't change and grow with it, you'll soon find yourself way behind, and you'll soon find other people surpassing you because they did keep up with technology. They did keep up with the knowledge and the trends. So make sure that you're not afraid to learn these new things and you're keeping up with it. And the last tip, the eighth tip that I want to leave you with to stay up with technology and stay up with new trends would be to join a mastermind group. You know, mastermind groups are very popular these days, but they've been around for many, many years. And really, it was popularized by a man named Napoleon Hill, who was commissioned to find out what true success was. Now, I'm going to also link to a post that I wrote about mastermind groups and kind of the background of that, so I won't go too in-depth here. But there is a lot of power when you get a group of people together that are all working in a spirit of harmony, working towards the same goal. And it's been called collective intelligence, because it's amazing what happens when you get people together all working towards the same goal and helping each other. And you'll get power from that, but we're really talking here about staying on top of trends. So when you're with other people in the same industry as you, and when you're talking to people about your problems, they're going to naturally bring up things they've used to solve those problems. And so this mastermind group is very effective. Now, I do want to take a moment here to plug the Sales Mastermind community that we have on Facebook. So it's a virtual mastermind group that you can join for free on Facebook. And please take advantage of this. This is an amazing opportunity for you. You can help with the different questions that come up here on the podcast. Of course, it's the continuing of the conversation of this podcast. I'm here to answer the question, but I'm also going to push that over to the Sales Mastermind community on Facebook, and you, the community, will be able to chime in and also help them with their sales questions. And if you have a sales question, you can also throw that up on the community, and I'll approve it, and then we can also work together to help each other succeed. So I hope these tips are very helpful. I'll go through them really quickly again. Follow thought leaders in your industry and other industries. Read trade magazines. Listen to podcasts. Go to trade shows. Go to live events. When you do go to live events and trade shows, talk to people. Ask the right questions. Make sure you're not afraid to learn new things and adopt new technologies. And join a mastermind group. So these are the tips that I would give you to stay on top of technology and to make sure that you keep your knowledge up to date. Now, as always, the show notes and the links mentioned in this podcast will be put over on the Sales Purpose website. You can simply go to salespurpose.com/session005, and you can find a brief description and a brief summary of this podcast, also with the links mentioned in this podcast. Also want to mention that if you go over to salespurpose.com and click on the podcast link up in the menu, you can also ask your question and get that answered here on the podcast. We also ask that you subscribe to the podcast, so don't forget to subscribe so you'll be notified when new episodes come out, which is every Monday. And so we're really happy that you listened to this podcast today. And I'm excited to be able to help you in the mastermind community. And I'm really looking forward to the next episode on Monday. So cheers and have a good day. Thank you for listening to the Sales Mastermind podcast. Be sure to check out the show notes below for any resources or sites mentioned in the podcast. Also be sure to subscribe and join the Facebook community to continue the conversation. Here's to your success.